Tia here. As soon as she's ready, she's gonna we can shut the door.
Is she FDLE as well?
No, she's from Daytona
Daytona.
Beach. He said, do that. We'll go through all this first, and then I'll obviously explain everything. You're definitely in custody, so we have to read your Miranda warning and all that stuff, and we'll get to it, okay?
Yep.
Special Agent Chris Trevor with the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, currently at the Flagler Beach Police Department. Also with me is Daytona Beach Detective Mary Toledo, and with us is Kimberly Kilpatrick, which I'm going to go ahead and read you your Miranda warnings here. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can be used against you in court. You have the right to talk to a lawyer for advice before we ask you any questions, and have him or her with you during that questionings. If you cannot afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you before any questionings if you wish. If you decide to answer questions now without a lawyer presence, you will still have the right to stop answering any time. You also have the right to stop answering any time until you talk to a lawyer. Do you understand all those?
Yes.
All right, and with that in mind, are you willing to talk to us
Yes.
at this point in time? I'll start this off with, you have any idea what this is about?
Yes.
What do you think this is about?
It's about the continued involvement with David Fouts and his family. The money that I had paid to Good Samaritan, because I had borrowed money from Alexa Fouts. So it's more of the witch hunt from Gregory Cook and Carly White.
Okay. What money are you talking about?
There was some money that I had borrowed from Alexa back in, it was the end of 2016, in January of 17. I was purchasing a home in Daytona, and I was on an account with her where we were depositing money from funds collected for her family after Dave's crash.
Mm-hmm.
And I get, it looks bad on the surface, but I had borrowed the money to pay, there was a creditor thing I had to pay for the loan on the house, and then I did, there was a separate incident for the title company because the sale of my house was messed up because the people buying my house at the time, the money from the title company didn't push it through or collect it. There was no money at the time, and I had also the closing on the new house the same day. And because the funds weren't in there, I contacted Alexa, told her what was happening, and Joe Sweats at the time was with me. He took a check to the bank to get the certified check.
And who's Joe Swift?
Joe Sweats, we were dating at the time, and he was with me there.
Oh, okay.
So Joe Sweats went with you to do what again?
He was with me closing on the houses, doing the
Okay.
closings, and I gave him the check because I had to stay to finish paperwork at the first closing.
Just so we're clear, which check?
It was just one that I sent. He went with the bank to get. It was I would say it's for around $7,000, somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Okay.
remember the exact amount, and that was to the title company.
Okay, you can't, well, I'm pretty sure you can't, title companies don't take personal checks, right?
Right, he had to go to SunTrust and get the certified check. He went to the bank and did that for me.
Okay, so, back at SunTrust?
Yeah,
Okay,
I was with the title company still.
okay, and that was in,
That was January 2017. The deal was I was gonna pay into, 16, I was paying it back after the sale of the house, but
10, 11 checks out of there?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, they're all have your signature on it, and they were all, the majority of them were for Dave. You paid off a,
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Like there was a cremation
Yep,
service.
yeah, for
we set
$20
up.
or something. There was something from Iron Horse Motorcycles. You wrote a check to them.
I don't remember.
It might have been
remember
for a
those.
raffle. So the majority of the stuff from the benefit account was for Dave.
Okay.
But Alexa didn't seem to have any, she had no workings with that account, it seems like. Her name was on it, but it seems like you pretty much handled that entire account. Just from the paperwork.
No, because she had the debit card and stuff. She used the debit card for things, and she didn't write a lot of checks, I know, but I didn't think there were that many checks even written.
Going through this at the time you're working at the Port Orange Police Department, right?
Yes.
There's a lot of money coming in. Who did you make aware at any point in time that there was some sort of deal going on with the family?
Maybe
Like,
a deal.
You said you're borrowing money, right? You're getting a loan that's based out of this account that was set up for David to medical bills. Obviously, he's got a ton of medical bills coming in. I mean, he was hurt pretty bad.
He was behind on payments, and I actually went to Bank of America. They wouldn't give us much information, but I had paid, I want to say $1,000 towards the payments.
Towards his house?
Towards his house in the beginning.
From which account?
From the same account.
So there's a check written to Bank of America for $1,000, is what you're saying?
I don't think it was a check, I think it was a card, so.
How much was he behind, do you remember?
I honestly don't remember. I know he was behind at least 2 months worth, I want to say.
Okay, so around $3,000.
3 to 4 grand.
Yes. So, and this was in the beginning when the account first opened. So I put the $1,000 at the mortgage company or the bank, and then with him being in the hospital and then having because he was going back and forth, it was like.
You guys thought he was going to die, right?
Well, at one point, yeah. And then he would have surgery, and then he'd come out of it, and he'd be like better than he was.
Kim, let me ask you a question. All right, I'm not trying to be an asshole, nothing. I just want to be upfront with you. You borrowed money out of a benefit account. How do you think that looks?
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know. I know how that looks, and I get that. I'm not.
Yeah, and that's the.
I don't dispute that.
We're saying that. So, what do you think? Again, ballpark. Total money did you borrow?
It was at, I'd say 24.
1,000. And we're talking he's 3,000 to 4,000. What ends up, because as the house starts to get, so I'm saying is, so that's what we're saying is that's why. How does this look on the surface? Is
right.
You're borrowing money, meanwhile bills are going unpaid.
No, that's inaccurate.
Well, Alexa writes in a letter to the court that she could not save the house because she didn't have the money.
Right.
Is there any documentation, because you were obviously the captain in Port Orange when all this stuff was going on, is there any documentation from work, emails, messages, because correct me if I'm wrong, but Port Orange gives you a work phone, right?
Yes.
Anything that can back up anything that you're saying as far as loans or money transactions or anything like that?
No, because I didn't use my work phone that much.
Is that you're looking at, as I believe I told you, but grand theft and the exploitation.
You have the same issue.
Well, why didn't somebody just call me and ask me, and I would have presented everything?
Kim, we did an investigation 3-4 years ago, and it never came up. Like this kind of stuff. Like this is the kind of stuff that as you're trying to develop, and this is where you got to understand, coming from my position, and
you kept that, Phil. You kept that close to your heart.
Yeah. There's this thing where the people are screaming that you're doing something shady, right? And I don't want to get into all the drama of it, because honestly, all I care about is what the facts are. The facts are what it shows, and talking to everybody else, we've never heard the word loan. This $24,000, this loan, and people are coming to you from the PD's angle, FDLE's coming to you, all this stuff, and not once is this the first time we've heard about any of this. And so you see, coming from a transparency point, and you're talking about funds that are being donations that people are going in there because Dave is jacked up in the hospital and people are thinking he's going to die, and then there's
They
house
don-
payments to be paid.
They donated
This
that
is
money
the-
for him.
Yeah, and then there's a loan, so I mean, you understand where we're coming from?
I do. It's just,
And that's why we're saying, is there any documentation whatsoever that you can show us at any point in time that this was a loan?
I can't.
Well, because as this has been going on since 2016, there's been so much
Turmoil everywhere.
turmoil there, but then there's a little smoke here, then there's a little smoke here, and people are going back and forth, and it's coming from all angles.
And then all of a sudden we find that. We find these.
You're not talking about a small amount of money. Like, you were a captain at the police department.
I know.
If you guys were having a picnic and you went and used money from the police department, would you not have to bring receipts back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why did Carmen come off of the checking account? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
She was on it, and then she came off of it.
Well, it depends who you ask.
I'm asking you.
I know, but I'm just saying, she came to me and said that it was just too much going on, she was too stressed, she didn't have time for this, because she was doing her victim advocate stuff, and she just didn't want to, have to be involved, so I said, okay.
Because in her FDLE interview.
The original one?
Yeah, the original one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think she said something about she thought there was some shady stuff going on. And I didn't know. I was like, nobody asked, well, what did you see that you thought was shady?
The shady stuff is what they're referring to when they tried to say that we fraudulently signed Dave's name on the insurance policy. Okay. That they still have yet to not get any of that correct.
The exploitation statute is broad. Mm-hmm. It's depriving somebody permanently or temporarily.
Mm-hmm.
So, plus on top of everything else, I mean, there's not that, you're acting in your official capacity as the captain. Those kids, you said in your interview, you did everything you did for those kids. And I believe you. They were young, they don't know what they're doing. They got $250,000 coming in this direction, $48,000 coming from this direction, and then all this money coming in from the community.
They have attorneys that have stepped into this thing. If you went to the attorneys and said, hey, can you write me up a little legal thing, payment schedule, because I'm about to borrow $24,000 from the benefit account, what do you think the attorneys would have said? Like, would have legally guided them at that point?
Yeah, I don't know what they would have said, but...
I mean, you think they would have said it's a good idea? Like, you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying, is that where you come into is it wasn't done, and they're there, and again, that's why we're sitting here, is because there is some deceitfulness that was, like it or not, like, nobody else was made aware of this. Nobody was made aware of this.
Outside of Alexa and I, no.
That's,
well, if it's a consulate, I mean, I paid the money and I paid interest on that money that I paid back.
right, but it is
No
still going back into the world that all three of us live in, too, is there's always as things are starting to heat up, one of the best things that you can do, which would be to go to the supervisor and say, listen, this is what happened, this is the deal we made, and none of that was ever done either.
Yeah, is there anybody like Proctor was there, the chief, anybody aware of any of that? Any of the lieutenants, captains?
No, because...
This is probably, chief, this is probably what they're screaming about, is they did give me a loan.
Well, no, yeah, I know. But they're screaming, and that's part of the...
I use that just as a...
No, I know, but I'm just saying it's part of the reason I kept it maybe close to heart, because... they were attacking everything anyhow. If I dated something wrong, they're attacking it. And they were implicating the chief on that, or the whoever. And it was just, the chief ended up leaving, the city manager ends up leaving, I end up leaving, because they're just, you can't even turn left without them saying, okay, you turned too sharp. Like, I don't even know how I would do that, but...
Either do I.
But
through subpoenas and investigative means, lo and behold, there's these two transactions.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. And, like I said, I kept it to myself.
And
let me ask you this. As the investigation goes on, because obviously, it's not going to stop here. There's more stuff to do. Is there anything else that we're going to come across?
Not at all.